Yeah, crosstalk. I'll put it to crosstalk.
Okay. Okay.
All right, I am back, and I think that we have the recording started.
Yes, we heard the announcement.
Yeah, that's the Uber conference recording. I usually hit those both at the same time. Try to have a backup of a backup. I think maybe Bruce is working on a backup of the backup of the backup right now. So this is the WIKISPEED HighFive Standup Hangout. It is 2017 September 21st. That sounds about right. So we're going to start off with our stand-up portion of what we got done last week, what we plan on doing next week, and if there's any blocks in the way of getting all of that awesome done. And I will ask, does anyone want to kick us off on this portion?
I can, because I'll be quick.
Perfect.
So, yes, and this week I failed early. That's because I got started trying to, I want to set up a server of my own to do my own finances in parallel with setting up some financial package for WIKISPEED on the GoDaddy, and so I went to I have a VBox with Linux on my Windows 10 i7 laptop, and so I went to upgrade the Linux for starters. Already that was the first fail because I forgot I'm doing a special server. I want to set up a special server. So I upgraded the Ubuntu that I already had, but it said there was no room. So it offered me to make room on the disk, and without thinking, I did that, and it said, "What's the name of this disk?" And I said the same name, and it says no bootable file. So that was fail one, and then that was kind of the extent of as far as I got is setting up the server and setting up the financial thing. But like they say, fail early. So that's what I did last week, and so I'm going to carry on with that. I am going to get the image. I think I need this image on a thumb drive, and then set up the new VBox Linux. Just to get started, I am thinking of buying a desktop. I talked to the Linux guru here, and he's also the basically the network guy on the island here. And I was proposing an old laptop, but it's older than I thought it was. So he suggested a new desktop, cheap, which is like probably $250 desktop to get up to speed enough to get a good server. But before I do that, I'm going to see if my Windows laptop can do the VBox version first and see if that works out. I've also got another dual machine that runs Linux, and so I'm going to see maybe if that one will do. Both of them are on all the time. So that's that. And blocks, there's just a lot going on here. In Canada, we got a provincial government and a federal government, and they're listening to everybody. They want input on everything. And so it's a rare opportunity, and so that's a block for me because I feel obliged. It's my duty to input. So that's it for me.
All right, I'll go next. Let's see. Gosh, took care of the John Ark email, which was obviously one of the things we should have gotten turned around sooner, but we didn't. But have we heard back from him at all? I haven't seen anything. So I'm assuming that he may have just fallen off the face of the earth and decided that we weren't worth bothering with, but hopefully he'll come back. Maybe he'll see this. John, if you're looking, come back. We want to talk to you. I paired on the marketing article and getting the T-shirts up on the website with Chris, which was nice. And we spread that out throughout the week, so we weren't doing the cliff dive on the sprint like we've been doing, which I thought was good. And we had some of the daily stand-ups in the Slack, so that was all good. I think the information flow was pretty good this week. Blocks for me have just been not feeling 100%, and maybe not putting as much effort in. I've been trying to land a new contract out here, and that's been sucking up a lot of my energy. So haven't had a lot to put toward it, but we got it done, and I would love to see a few more people in on the calls. That would be great, but that's just me, no pressure. So that's it from me. Oh, I'm Bruce Connor from the Tewksbury shop.
And I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to jump in. Go.
Oh, you do that because that's exactly what I was about to introduce you, Lauren.
Yeah. Lauren Salter, Gabriola Island, British Columbia.
Awesome. Well, thank you all both. And I believe that leaves me. So I'm Chris Wallace. I'm the product owner of the Burleson, the WIKISPEED Burleson, Texas, USA Microfactory. And again, I usually kick us off with a brief reading from the Agile Manifesto. I possibly lost track of which ones I've read so far, and not yet because my computer crashed before I saved my little notepad file last week. But I think I've figured that out. So this week I want to cover the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. So I've saved this one for later in the reading because clearly we are not doing face-to-face communication. However, we are doing the absolute next best thing we can do as a internationally distributed team, which is meeting on a Hangout and looking at each other's faces. So
I want full-length 3D.
Yeah. We need holograms. We'll build that next week. Okay, so what did I do last week? Let me pull that up. Okay, I think Bruce had already mentioned some of this. So we added, and we paired on a lot of this. We added November dates to the reservation system for WIKISPEED Consulting. We definitely paired on that. Immediately after that, I was able to tie our WIKISPEED Consulting website board to Slack so that updates are more available to the team when we make changes. There was one slight block on that when it was going on. Apparently, once the account that's being used to do that, it has to be added to the board, and not just that, you have to log into the board once before those updates kick off. I had a hangout yesterday with William and Gene on a kind of a new idea of building I won't go into all the details on it, but building like an inexpensive, very versatile tooling system. That's basic. The most basic way to say it is like a large format 3D printer / milling machine. That
How large?
That's one of the things that we're working on. And it might be in iterations, but the max would be about 12 feet. The probably first ones, we don't really want to go much under 3 or 4 feet. So you're talking probably bigger than anything else that's on an affordable range on the market right now. But it's basically a 3D printer / milling machine. that is multi-material and it's modular, so these things can be switched out. We're in the very preliminary stages of it right now. There's been a lot of offline discussion about it. It's looking very promising. There's a motivated team behind it, and we're already dealing with the riskiest stuff first and knocking a lot of blocks out on it. So I'm actually really, really excited about that. We also, of course, we added the T-shirts to the online store, and we put probably the most effort this week is we put a lot of effort into our marketing article series. I would say it hits and misses. I think a lot of good stuff is going on there. I was able to produce what I would call a minimum viable product that is potentially releasable, but also as the product owner of that particular project, I don't think I'm actually going to release it because I think a lot of discussion came up that can make something just tremendously better for next week. I don't want to wait too long to release it. I think that hopefully we can use all of the input and knock that out very early in this next upcoming sprint. But that's kind of where we're at with it. And now I had one other thing that I did not write down that I do not remember now. So maybe I'll remember that a little later in the. I guess. Well, this will lead into what I plan on doing next week. I was not able to acquire or borrow a circular saw for the Burleson shop, so I have not been back there to cut the door holes in the chassis to get the interior module installed. So I ended up ordering that yesterday or the day before, and it should be, based on tracking, it should be here tomorrow. So this Sunday, I should be able to get to the shop and actually cut the door holes and get the interior module installed and get the next iteration of car number 11 going. And then the rest of what I would plan on doing next week is mostly going to be marketing WIKISPEED consulting. Again, I felt like I should be more concise on this part of the call, but we actually do our sprint planning tomorrow. So, again, a lot of times it becomes to be determined what we will be working on, what the highest priority things are. And really, I don't have a lot of blocks. The team has just been knocking blocks out for me left and right. The only block has been not having that circular saw for the last few weeks, and that should be removed tomorrow. So that wraps it up for me, and I see that William and Michael both joined the call, so who would like to go next?
All right, Michael, if you're not jumping onto it, then I will take that baton. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all. I missed being on here. It is a change of the weather, even though it does look bright, but it's cloudy and overcast, and cleaner air, though. I did not do much last week other than checked a few emails and finally actually got the photos back from Christina, which is excellent. She was swamped over, I think, with weddings and other work. I may still be fighting with something. Who knows? Could be still. I see a few potential blocks coming up for me in the next couple of months. We'll see what things are winning through. Let me see, go to the Trello page. A couple of things that I think I'm the block in terms of the burn down, and also jumping on the call from the calendar doesn't mesh well. No, it doesn't mesh to the same exact Google Hangout instance as the one from the email. So that is interesting. I would assume that it would be the same one, but unless I saved the wrong calendar invite, so we will troubleshoot that later on. It was a high enough priority. Is that still, we're doing stand-up, I think, or high five? Okay, that's it for me. Who would like to go next?
I guess that's me. Can you guys hear me? Just that's finished chewing, so I guess.
Yes, you sound good.
Okay. I had emailed up my my stand-up. A little bit of progress on the Mazda last week. The cooling pump is plumbed but not electrically connected. I lost a piece of my connector, so I have to make something up. I got some liquid electrical tape to repair cables after I finish probing them on the Polaris. It's not my first choice for trying to figure out what signals are happening, but I guess it is a reliable way of verifying that something is actually getting to where it's supposed to go. And I checked out that quick fix that was posted last week for possibly getting one of the Polaris running, and it didn't work. Next week, a little bit more work on the Polaris. So working on this connection for the Polaris, and I seem to be getting a lot of feedback off of the Polaris forums. So I'm going to keep posting there, and hopefully people will keep giving me suggestions and things to try. And I guess that's about it for me. Was that the last one?
I believe so. You know what? I don't think I heard the ping of anyone joining the phone number. Let me check that real quick. Yes. So I believe that wraps up our stand-up portion of the call. If not, I'll give a 1, 2, 3 count real quick. Does anyone have a stand-up that they would like to give that has not yet given it yet?
Question.
Yes.
Does this need to be recorded?
Yes, in at least maybe 3 different ways. We have a video recording happening, possibly. We have an audio recording happening, and possibly a second video recording happening. We'll see how that all pans out.
Okay, good. I'm going to step away from that and see how it turns out. Then it
Okay.
turned out okay last time, so
yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I believe that brings us to the retrospective, and let's keeping the same order. I believe we should start off with you, Lauren.
Unmuting. Okay. Yeah, so for myself, I'll do 3, and the team is a 10, and process improvement. Don't have one.
Thank you, Lauren. I think, Bruce, you are next.
Yeah, I'm going to give myself an 8. I feel like I dropped the ball on a couple of things, but not bad. Good week. Teams gets a 9. I mean, lots of good cooperation, lots of good chatter. Improvement. I like the fact that we've been kind of trying to do something similar to, a little daily check-in on Slack. I'd like to see that continue. I think that worked really well. So that would be my improvement for the day.
All right, I believe that leaves me next, actually. I'm going to go with a 9 for me, just because there's definitely some room for improvement. The only reason I'm giving myself a 9 is I sped up from last week and the week before that, but I don't think I'm back to the velocity that I expect yet. And a 9 for the team. Everyone, like I said, that's been available has done a great job of, bobbing and weaving with the punches and knocking out blocks when they come up. And again, there's some room for improvement there, but I think that's definitely what we're trending towards. And Also, I always hate to do this, but I did not even get close to writing down a process improvement for this week. So I believe that William is next.
Yes, hello. I'm going to give myself a 3. I guess 1 or 2 for arriving and being here, though late, and then 1 more for checking on emails and forwarding the photos to the team. Wouldn't give myself less, but I think it would be probably terrible in that example. I know that the team is doing really well, and I love it. It's awesome. I'm going to give the team a 10 for being able to sustain and continue on. I'm hoping to remove some of these bottlenecks where I am not the only person, so I think that Dropbox access could help, but the problem with that is I think I need to sign into Dropbox, so my process improvement would be to help figure out a shareable area for sensitive high-level information, such as our Coinbase accounts info and a lot of the passwords and whatnot. That way it's not just designated to one person or possibly 2, but perhaps the core team right here. That way, like I said, if one of us doesn't take care of themselves, speaking from experience, and just work themselves into an early grave-ish, keyword is ish, then there's other people that will have that information to help one another out. That's my process improvement and retro. So a 3, a 10, and a platform for the highly sensitive information.
Awesome. Thank you, William. I also say, you may have even forgotten you did this, but even with 1 foot in the grave, you did a 45-minute call with me and a potential WIKISPEED team member for some new awesome project yesterday. So personally, I think you should give yourself more than a 3, but it's up to you. It's up to you, right? All right.
A lot of hot towels.
All right. So I think that leaves you, Michael.
Okay. I'm going to give myself a 6. I didn't get very much done, but I wasn't expecting to get very much done. Team is all 9.5. There's lots of stuff flying back and forth. I'm a little concerned that William is talking about graves. I missed last week's call, so is there something I need to know? And I don't have a process improvement.
Sorry, Michael, not to alarm you. It was just a joke. Just me being, not here as well, and just due to not taking care of myself. So apologies if that was a terrible joke.
That's okay. I make terrible jokes too. I was a little bit surprised. That's all.
Okay, so I believe that wraps up. Doesn't wrap up. I think everyone's given a retrospective and process improvement. And I'm sorry, I'm not as good at multitasking as William is, so I'm actually typing and doing this. And somebody just...
No one is good at multitasking.
Can you turn that light back on, please? Sorry, somebody just turned the lights off on me out here. Sorry. 1 second. Okay, so I've written down everyone's retrospectives, and we will get that into the document that tracks that. I don't know that we did that last week, but the video is available, so we may be able to go pull that information and get that updated. So we have 2 process improvement suggestions. One of them was a modification of what we've already attempted to do last week, but I will expound upon that based on Bruce's suggestion that we attempt to do a daily stand-up, or at least any time that we do have time as a volunteer team to do work to update our progress on Slack. Last week it was just to do something like a daily stand-up, and I'll say the modification of that would be to update the Slack, because that seems like where a lot of good communication goes on.
I would even go so far as to say, if you're planning on doing something in the very near future, to indicate your intent, so maybe somebody else to lend a hand if you want to share knowledge.
Right, and perfect. Again, I think that the modification, what we already attempted to do as an experiment, which I think worked great, is that we nailed down that we do that in Slack, because that seems to be the most immediate way to get information back and forth to the team. And then the alternate process improvement suggestion is to use the a document repository for sensitive info, so that it's always available to people on the core team, whether or not a specific team member is available or not. So I will call the doing a stand up on Slack number one. Sorry, you're reading my hitchhiker's thumb. And the document repository for sensitive info to be number 2. Does everyone understand what we are voting on? Okay, so on the count of 3, I would like to either, I think everyone's visible to me. So on the count of 3, let's show our vote. 1, 2, 3. I see. Okay, I see 3 2s and 2 1s. Is that right? Did I get that right? 3, 2, and
I believe that is correct. I was thinking
1.
the Slack function could probably help us brainstorm and figure out a really good way to do so. As far as the figuring out a way to share highly sensitive password with the core group.
No,
So, that's
true.
my thing.
Well, then you should have voted.
I know. Right?
Okay, so our process improvement experiment will be to find a document repository, and this may actually be way easier. It may just be we have a username and password. Maybe we create an account for Dropbox as it stands that can be shared to key members. That is not the main admin account. But basically, our process improvement is to try to find a document repository for sharing sensitive information to the team, so that if a team member is not available, the information is still available. And we have a week to figure it out, and I think that we can definitely use Slack as a way to brainstorm doing that. And I also believe that wraps up our essential ceremonies for running this multinational organization for one more week, and pivoting our goals and finding the best way to do all of the awesome available. And that opens it up for crosstalk. Does anyone have anything they would like to discuss right off the bat? If anybody needs to jump out early or leave now, you are fully welcome to.
I would like to ask if anybody else besides Chris watched the instructional video that I made, and if you had any commentary about it, if it's something that you think was useful that we might want to use to publicize ourselves, or if you want to change in the way it was done or anything like that, I'd be very interested to hear.
Yeah.
Or if it was just obnoxious and why don't I go away?
This is William. I thought it was really cool and it was good, refreshing, good to see some different faces of WIKISPEED. And I'd say yes, let's throw it out there even more so to market it and get some more feedback and iterate. The faster we can do it, the faster we can make it better.
Okay, well, I will accept scripts and ideas on how to illustrate them. I would love to do that.
I love everything about it and think it's a great way to market almost any idea that we're going for. The specifics of that video, no part of it was annoying. Every part of it was awesome. You mentioned the meetings that WIKISPEED uses specifically, and you said we use 2 meetings?
That was in the original script that I had, and I was going to ask about that because I said, wait a minute, 353. Where's this 2 meeting stuff?
Right. So I think that you may. I wasn't sure where that came from. I thought that maybe
I can fix that, by the way.
Right.
I can just put one in.
I thought that maybe you used it because we literally scheduled 2 actual hangouts, but we always do the full 4 events and one, what is it called? Someone help me. The backlog revision is not an event, it's an activity. So we always do 4 events and 1 activity, right?
Yeah.
So that was the only thing I thought, if we're using it to really market out to the masses that we're truly doing Scrum, that saying that we do 2 meetings might be either confusing or deceptive. But other than that, everything about it was...
Yeah, it was actually on my list of stuff to ask, because I literally just took the script from something Joe had written or somebody had written. It was in the blog, and so well, I wondered about that. But I recorded to see what it would be, and I can always punch something else in there later.
Oh, it was awesome beyond my wildest dreams. So just yeah, I mean, in fact, I would actually be okay with it being shared as it is, but that's just one minor little, maybe we should wipe that out and write over it.
Well, I would like to talk to Christine, because what I think we would like to have, if possible, is to have sort of a house look and feel for this stuff. And, so that our videos seem consistent. It'll seem more professional that way. Now, we may have to iterate through a few of them to get that. And, my plan was make a bunch, not maybe for release, but just for kind of internal review until we're kind of happy with how it looks. And maybe we can get a set of, stock images and things we like in a particular style, color schemes, background music, whatever it is, intros and outros. So, think about that and just sort of think about what you'd like. And, if you see another video made by somebody else that rings a bell with you and you say, hey, I like the way they kind of approach this, send it off to me. I'd like to see that.
If they all ended up looking just like that one, I would be totally okay with that. I do wonder, how do they do that little hand sketch thing, though, where they make the hand show up?
I know, that's really cool. Yeah, it's just a selection when on how the text appears. I would love to have that for hand-drawn stuff, too, because I was thinking of, making my own set of little characters that I could use. But who knows? My drawing skills are... but good enough for a lot of this stuff. And I think if we just made it kicky and fun, it might be okay. That was part of what I was, asking about was the tone of the thing, sort of the way we want to have it. And, how light do we want to make it? How serious do we want to be? We're here to solve your hardware problems, versus, something. It's like, hey, you should be having fun at work. Why are you having fun at work? You're not as effective if you're not. Come on. Follow me, Stinky.
I don't think we ever want to be serious, right? We should always be having fun.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, when you're marketing this stuff, you do have to kind of tone it down a little bit, I think.
So you're saying, you're implying that it's actually possible to have fun at work. Is that
yes. I know it's blasphemy.
Well, it certainly sounds like it's from a different country, if not a different planet.
Well, happy workers are generally good workers, so.
Yeah,
otherwise, the resources.
We've just had another round of Dilberts because we were asked to remove anything that might be fun from posting on the walls at work.
Oh my God! Oh, that's awful.
The boss is really worried about offending anybody and harassment. So anything that might be construed as comedy is now not acceptable.
That is a bummer.
Well, this is how underground comics get started. That's all I'll say. I won't say any more. I won't instigate.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could be wrong because I'm just one member of 5,000 members of WIKISPEED, but I would say that if the organization is supposed to be serious and not have fun, then you've never been at a build party with me.
There you go.
I think that's the whole point, is for it to be just as fun as possible and non-judgmental, and let everybody be themselves and do whatever they want to do.
Speaking of which, are you going to be at our little shindig next week?
I'm still to be determined. That it's coming up to a week is I will be there not only in spirit, I will be there in hangout if I can't actually be there in person.
Okay. Am I going to have to drag you around on a tablet as my constant companion.
Just set me by the front door, and I'll be like I'll be the security guard. When y'all drive in the car, you point me that way, and then when you're in the shop, you point me that way. Yeah. Hello, and thank you for coming.
I think
you need a
selfie stick
put a post on a little Roomba, and then he could go.
There's actually a Roomba upstairs in that shop, but I don't know if you can ever get it to go exactly where you want it to go, right? So I might bounce into a lot of walls and be like, turn me around. Can somebody turn me around?
We'll put you on a drone. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, really, if it comes down to that, put me on the car, right? So I can actually experience hauling butt through the sandstorm track. With a steering wheel that works, that would be awesome.
So I'm also still half thinking about coming, but for me, I don't like the land border. The border guards at the land border are the worst. They're very polite at the airport, where you get pre-cleared. In Canada, you pre-clear to land in the U.S., so you actually are already through customs when you land. But there's no a decent priced flight from Vancouver to Seattle. It's too short. Everybody drives, and I got some logistic problems and everything. It's frustrating to be so close.
You don't think wearing the blue blazer with the brass buttons and the gray slacks will help at all at the border?
Always.
Sorry, that might be an inside joke, Lauren. I don't know.
Well, I know I've talked about it before. I got used to it doing my crossing for jobs, because one of the things on how to go to another country, or go specifically to the U.S. for a job, is you're supposed to be a professional, look like a professional, cross the border. Bruce?
Yes?
Yeah, so is Bruce Connor at WIKISPEED at bruceconnor.com? Is that your email? And is it okay that I said it on the recording?
It's actually not that address, but it's slightly different. But I'll send it to you.
Just use Slack and send you the link?
Yeah, just Slack it to me. I'll take a look at it. I have a couple of small USB type amplifiers, so it may be the same thing that I've got.
Yeah, okay.
Is it like a 12AX7 based sort of thing?
I have to go back to the computer.
That's all right.
Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth.
Oh. No, I don't have any Bluetooth ones, so I might not be able to comment on that, but if it's inexpensive enough, go for it.
It's $80. Yeah, I'm not into it, but there's a lot of musicians here, and I told one of them about it, and he was impressed with it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got all my stuff before Bluetooth really got big. I'm going to be doing these videos. I'm actually going to have to get my sound booth all set up and ready to go again. I haven't been using that for a couple of years, so I just did this one, this little place.
It already sounded great.
Not with my best microphone, even.
Chris, those crickets are really energetic.
I got my headphones in, so I can't even hear them. But yeah, I imagine they are. They're actually cicadas. But yeah, I don't even hear them anymore. But they are so loud.
Yeah, I had a cicada in a tree, like literally outside my window a couple of days ago, and it's like, oh,
Earlier this year, I know I mentioned it. I think the 13-year and the 17-year cicadas matched up somehow, and they just all showed up on my back door. So yeah, good call. Good call. I'll try to remember to keep everything muted when I'm not talking, so that's not too annoying on the recording. Real quick, things that came up during the call. Bruce, I have not checked the info at wikispeed.com account, and that to see if John has replied to it. It's very possible he has. There's no filter set up to forward that to anyone, so that would require someone logging in and looking at it.
I can check that right now.
Yeah, and that's perfect. I think I checked a couple days ago and didn't see anything new. Other than that, Lauren, I want to mention what you were doing with Linux. So you're using VirtualBox, and VirtualBox has the option when you create a hard drive to make it a dynamic hard drive. So it makes a very small hard drive, and you set the max setting. I don't know if that's something you were on.
Go ahead.
I would say, in fact, it sounds like really the problem wasn't that as much as that when you picked the same one, it tried to overwrite what was going on.
Yeah. It overwrote it formatted the one that it was using and made it bigger. Elementary. If it wasn't VBox, I think I wouldn't have done it, but I don't have to pay that much attention to VBox, and I wasn't. I was planning on blowing away what was there anyway. So, I was going to say, Chris, that sound is so atmospheric. I half expect Tennessee Williams to come and sit next to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the beauty of VirtualBox, right? You can totally break it, and then you can just set up a new one. And the second time you do it, it takes about a quarter the amount of time, right? Also, because of what you're trying to set up, we do actually have a front accounting instance available on our GoDaddy account. I know we had discussed pairing up on that, and we didn't get to that this week. Also, you had sent me a personal email earlier in the week that I did not reply to, that I need to go ahead and follow up. So maybe we can do that soon. Do a little brainstorming on some of our personal goals.
Cool. Yes. Yeah. I think so. Good idea.
Interesting. I on September 11th, there was a Google Voice call, apparently, to info@wikispeed.com. Well, I was trying to get a warm body on the phone here, but maybe you guys aren't selling cars or something. Then what? 5-6 years, something? Yes, nobody around. Interesting. I wonder if it was him.
It sounds like this time that somebody tried to send a text message to my landline, and then I lost a contract over it. Why are you Google? I'm just saying, why you're Google hanging out a random email address when sounds like an interesting goal.
I don't see anything from anybody. Let's see. Is there anything else?
Does that Google Hangout? Does it just say unknown number? Because I got one of those on my Hangout recently too. But does it give any indication of who was trying to contact you, or if there's any way we could contact them back?
Let me take a look.
I do check the info at WIKISPEED account once in a while. Mostly it's marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good call.
I didn't see that voicemail though, so I missed it.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything here. And converts the voice to text. So if he left a number, don't know.
If they didn't put a number, then I guess the troll started to get out underneath the bridge and started moving on to the landlines.
I agree, William. I was going to say the same thing. We do have a couple of super fans that use the exact same rhetoric with us in multiple venues, I would say, and it does sound like something similar to that. Also, William, one thing that you mentioned as a block was the Google Hangout link, and I'll say that's intriguing to me because the one on the calendar should be identical to the one in the email. So maybe we can follow up at a future date and figure out what happened with that. Because I'm wondering I'm just wondering what happened with that. Because really, if you were hitting the right calendar date, it should be the same as the notification. So
Yeah.
I feel bad that was a block for you getting on the call, but again, if that's a bug, I'd like to figure out. If that's a thing, I need to know about it so that we can address it in the future for sure.
Hey, see y'all later. I gotta go.
Okay.
Bye, Lauren.
Great seeing you tonight, Lauren.
Okay. Maybe I'll put a card in the WIKISPEED. I guess it's not a website, is it? Because it's our.
You bring up a great point. We need to change the name of that board. It's not the website anymore. It's the team.
Oh, is it?
Right. Well, I'm just saying. But the WIKISPEED website board's a perfect place to do that. It's just that it seems like that the team has shifted from working on the website to just working on all of the awesome things that come up. I don't know what we should call it. Maybe we can discuss that in the sprint planning tomorrow.
Okay. Under an email link, conflict, rename the WIKISPEED website. Y'all still hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good. It just got really quiet for a second. Maybe Chris muted. Website board. Okay.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh, crap. I didn't get back to the tab fast enough. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Oh, okay. It was on the same, screen, or one of the screens. And I couldn't click back fast enough to the other tab.
You're also lucky my dogs are out here so that the cat is not standing 4 feet away from me cautiously and just meowing the whole time. Won't let me pet him yet, but it's very demanding of my attention. So you could have heard not only the cicadas, but also meow, 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 meow. Oh, you want me to pet you? No.
But I want you to listen to me and look at me.
Yep.
Okay. Very good.
It also looks like we have about 1 minute left in our time box. So is there anything that is absolutely pertinent that anyone needs to cover? I mean, I'm willing to hang out a little longer if we need to. But if anybody has anything super pertinent to cover.
I'm probably not going to be on the next stand-up because I'm going to be getting ready to fly out real early in the morning. So I'm going to be heading to bed and packing up. William, I'm expecting to show up about noontime or so on Friday. So will you be there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean next Friday, right?
Yeah, next Friday. Oh, yeah. It's like this week.
I was thinking like, it's for the expo. It's next Friday, just to confirm. Yeah. You're like, no, I'm going to be here for the whole week. I'm like, okay. Please shoot me an email. And we were figuring that you're going to be staying at the dojo. Is that correct?
No, actually, I've got an Airbnb.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's, like 10 minutes away.
Okay. Very good. That'll be close. Yes. Shoot me an email.
Is there anybody going to show up for the build party stuff Thursday and Friday? Did that ever get announced? Or, tune-up day or carburation day, whatever you want to call it?
The one on the reservation website has no bookings yet. However, people show up all the time, so possible.
Okay.
I don't think, yes. Again, that'll be to be determined.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just as happy to come and, drink beer and eat chips, but somebody's working on cars. That's great.
At this point, also, I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can get like a Craigslist ride. I mean, like either to Seattle or if I get to Tewksbury, maybe you can just pack me as luggage, throw me in the overhead.
Yeah, I'm taking an old laptop bag as luggage this time. The ultimate cheap feat.
Well, I'm a little bigger than that.
Not even going to pack my good briefcase with me. They can abuse me, they can lose it, they can do whatever. I can replace pretty much everything.
Well, again, I will be there in spirit at the very least. And Bruce, if you've never been to, I won't say it. You've never been to the Linwood shop before, you're really in for a treat.
I'm psyched.
It's just a great
I'm looking
time.
forward to it.
It really is a great time.
Oh, I hope we get a
all
decent
the fun
time
possible. Even if you don't, you'll still love it. I mean, but yes, I also agree with that.
All right. Well, that was all I had.
Speaking of not being all that big, looks like you've lost a little bit more weight.
No, not really.
Haven't seen you for a bit. No.
Nope. Just probably better lighting. Aspect ratio on my camera, something.
Well, it hasn't been blurry and refocusing this whole session, so.
Yeah, that's probably why. I put the light up a little bit.
Okay.
I just didn't want people to see the mess behind me.
I think it's more like a montage of collection of, like hardware.
Yes.
Of good old hardware that's been working and worked on.
It's not a mess at all. That is the quintessential ham shack.
Yes.
Nothing messy about it.
Yeah, if you could see it.
Yeah, we just need some books in between, It's like having book holders. I mean, you don't really need book holders, but if you put a couple of book holders, you're like, oh, it's interior design.
There you go, yeah. The two Briggs over here, the transistorized stuff here, sort of a feng shui, timeline. Yeah.
You could. Something from like...
interior design doesn't hum and have fans, though.
That's right. Make a nice glow. That's my favorite part about the tubes.
Very good.
So, okay, that's it for me.
Same as well. Good to see you all.
Yeah, take care of yourself, William. You look kind of rocky there. It looks like you're still fighting this thing off. So
yeah, yes I am.
Don't overdo.
It doesn't help that the roommate's a nurse practitioner, and also he's tricks of the trade, which is the downfall. He gets whatever he gets from the clinic. Like,
yeah.
I hate you all.
Yeah. Well, be well for the big event next week.
Yep. Plan on it.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, gentlemen.
Good night, guys.
Have a good night.
Night.
It's great seeing all you again. Me and the cicadas are out.